You know what? Right now, someone out there is waiting for your permission to love yourself. But let me tell you something. That permission, it's been yours all along. So now I'm standing here today because I learned this lesson the hard way. See, we're so quick to give our love away. We give it to friends who don't call back. We give it to partners who don't value us. We give it to jobs that drain us dry. But when it comes to loving ourselves, man, we act like we're begging for scraps at our own table. So let me break this down for you. Every morning, you wake up, that's already a blessing. But what's the first thing you do? Check your phone, see who liked your post. Worry about what others think. Stop right there. That's where problem starts. I'll tell you a story. There was this young man I met, worked 3 jobs, tried to please everyone. His boss, his girlfriend, his family, everyone except himself. One day, he collapsed. His body shut down. You know why? Because he forgot the most important person in his life, himself. You see, loving yourself isn't selfish. It's necessary. Like on an airplane, they tell you to put your oxygen mask on first. Why? Because if you can't breathe, you can't help anyone else breathe. That's not selfish. That's smart. But here's what happens. We get it backwards. We think if we love ourselves first, we're doing something wrong. Like it's a crime to put yourself first. Who told you that? Who made that rule? Let me give it to you straight. Your happiness is not a side dish. It's the main course. Your peace of mind is not optional. It's essential. Your self-respect is not negotiable. It's mandatory. You know what self-love looks like in real life? It's saying no. When you need to rest, it's eating that meal without feeling guilty. It's looking in the mirror and not criticizing every little thing you see. It's spending time alone and actually enjoying it. I see people out here running themselves into the ground, working overtime, skipping meals, neglecting sleep. They call it hustle. I call it self-destruction. You think running on empty makes you strong? No, it makes you broken. Here's a truth bomb for you, right? Nobody, and I mean nobody, will ever love you better than you can love yourself. That perfect partner you're waiting for, they can't fill a cup you keep empty. That dream job you're chasing, it won't make you whole if you're broken inside. You want real power? Start with the person in the mirror. Start treating yourself like someone you're responsible for helping, because you are. Think about it. Would you let someone talk to your best friend the way you talk to yourself? Would you let someone treat your child the way you treat yourself? No. Then why do you accept it from yourself? Self-love isn't bubble baths and face masks, though there's nothing wrong with those things. Real self-love is setting boundaries. It's speaking up when something doesn't feel right. It's walking away from situations that dim your light. Look at nature. A flower doesn't ask permission to bloom. A lion doesn't apologize for roaring. The sun doesn't feel guilty for shining. So why do you apologize for being who you are? You want to know what changed my life? The day I realized that every time I said yes to something I didn't want to do, I was saying no to myself. Every time I stayed in a situation that hurt me, I was telling myself I wasn't worth protecting. Some of you are nodding because you know exactly what I'm talking about. You've been there. Maybe you're there right now. Staying in that relationship that's sucking the life out of you. Working that job that's killing your spirit. Being with those friends who you only call when they need something. Let me tell you what's going to happen if you don't start loving yourself more. Life's going to teach you the hard way. Because if you don't value yourself, life will send you people who agree with your self-assessment. If you think you're worth nothing, life will send you people who treat you like nothing. But it doesn't have to be that way. You can change it right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, right? Start small. Wake up tomorrow morning and do one thing to show love to yourself. Just one thing. Maybe it's taking a quiet moment before checking your phone. Maybe it's saying something kind to yourself in the mirror. Maybe it's drinking water instead of coffee first thing. You see, self-love is built in these small moments. It's not about grand gestures. It's about the tiny choices you make every day. It's choosing yourself over and over again, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Some people might not like the new you. The you that says no, the you that sets boundaries, the you that chooses yourself. Let them be uncomfortable. Their comfort is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to the person you see in the mirror. That person needs you to be brave. That person needs you to be kind, not just to others, but to yourself. That person needs you to stop waiting for permission to live your best life. You know what's funny? We spend so much time trying to prove our worth to others. We post the perfect pictures. We work the extra hours. We bend over backwards to show everyone how valuable we are, but the person who needs to see your worth the most is you. Let me tell you something about love. Real love doesn't hurt, not even self-love. If it hurts, if it depletes you, if it leaves you feeling less than, that's not love. That's punishment. And you've been punishing yourself long enough. I see some of you shifting your seats. This hits home, doesn't it? Good. Let it hit, let it wake you up. Because you've been sleeping on yourself for too long. You're not too much, you're not too loud. You're not too sensitive. You're not too anything. You're exactly who you're supposed to be. And it's time you started treating yourself that way. Think about how you love others. You forgive them when they make mistakes. You encourage them when they're down. You celebrate their wins. Now, why can't you do the same for yourself? Some of you grew up thinking love had to be earned. You had to achieve something to be worthy of love. Let me clear that up right now. Your worth isn't in what you do. It's in who you are, and who you are is enough. The world will try to tell you different. It'll try to sell you things to make you feel complete. New clothes, new car, new phone, like happiness comes with a price tag. But you know what? The most valuable things in life are free, and self-love is one of them. I'm looking at some of you right now and I can see the pain. The pain of trying to be perfect. The pain of trying to please everyone. The pain of putting yourself last is written all over your face. But today, right here, right now, that stops. Because here's what happens when you start loving yourself more than anyone else. You become unstoppable. Not because you're better than anyone, but because you're finally fully yourself. Your relationships improve because you're no longer looking for someone to complete you. You're already complete. Your work improves because you're no longer seeking validation. You're seeking excellence. Your life improves because you're no longer living it for everyone else. You're living it for you. Some days will be harder than others. Some days you'll slip back into old patterns. That's okay. Self-love is not a destination. It's a practice. Like any muscle, it gets stronger the more you use it. But you got to start somewhere, and that somewhere is here. Today, with a decision to love yourself more than anyone else. Not because others don't deserve your love, but because you can't give what you don't have. You want to change the world, start with your world. Start with how you treat yourself. Start with how you talk to yourself. Start with how you forgive yourself. Look at your hands. These hands have carried you through every hard day. Look at your feet. These feet have walked you through every storm. Look at your heart. This heart has kept beating even when you thought it would break. You are a miracle walking. Do you understand that? The odds of you being born were 1 in 400 trillion. You're not a mistake. You're not an accident. You're not just taking up space. When you start loving yourself, really loving yourself, watch how your choices change. Watch how you stop accepting crumbs and start expecting the whole meal. Watch how you stop apologizing for your existence and start celebrating it. I'm not talking about becoming selfish. I'm talking about becoming self-aware. There's a difference. Selfish people take from others. Self-aware people know how to give without emptying themselves. The greatest gift you can give to those you love is your own happiness. Not the happiness that comes from them, but the happiness that comes from within you. Because when you're truly happy with yourself, you don't need others to fill your gaps. Some of you have been running from yourself, running to relationships, running to work, running to anything that will distract you from dealing with yourself. But here's the truth. Wherever you go, there you are. You can't outrun yourself. So stop running, turn around, face yourself, and then start seeing you, what's always been there, a person worthy of love. Your love, first and foremost, your love. Remember this, the relationship you have with yourself sets the tone for every other relationship in your life. If you don't respect yourself, others won't respect you. If you don't value yourself, others won't value you. If you don't love yourself, others can't truly love you. I'm not saying it's easy. Nothing worth having ever is, but I am saying it's worth it. Because when you finally get it, when you finally understand that you are worthy of your own love, everything changes. Your smile becomes real. Your laugh becomes genuine. Your peace becomes unshakable. Not because life gets easier, but because you get stronger. So let me ask you, what are you waiting for? Permission. Here it is. Recognition. Look in the mirror. Love. Start giving it to yourself. Because at the end of the day, you're the one you wake up with. You're the one you go to sleep with. You're the one who knows your deepest dreams and your darkest fears. And you're the one who needs to be there for yourself, no matter what. This is your life, your one precious life. And it's time to start living it like you love yourself. Because you do. You might have forgotten, but it's still there. That love for yourself is waiting for you to remember it. So remember it now. Okay? Remember who you are. Remember your worth. Remember that you deserve your own love more than anyone else's. And if you forget tomorrow, remember again and again and again until loving yourself becomes as natural as breathing. Because that's what it should be: natural, necessary, and non-negotiable. You are worth it. You always have been. You always will be. Now go live like you know it. Stand tall. Walk proud. Love yourself first. The rest will follow. Because when you truly love yourself more than anyone else, you don't just change your life. You change the world. One self-loving person at a time. And let me tell you about success. Real success, not the kind you see on TV, not the fancy cars or big houses. I'm talking about waking up and actually liking who you are. That's success. You see, I meet people all the time, rich people, famous people, people who seem to have it all. But when they're alone at night, they can't stand their own company. Now, what kind of success is that? Let me tell you what I see. When I look at you, I see strength you haven't used yet. I see power you haven't tapped into. Why? Because you're too busy looking for approval in everyone else's eyes. Some of you are afraid to be alone. You jump from relationship to relationship. You fill every minute with noise, but solitude. That's where you find your power. That's where you build your strength. So here's the truth. Nobody tells you. The quiet moments when you're all alone, that's when you build your empire. Inside, where it counts. You want real confidence? Stop asking for opinions. Your life isn't a democracy. It's not up for vote. You don't need 4 people in a committee to decide if you're enough. I've seen people turn down dreams because someone told them they couldn't do it. Let me ask you something. Who gave them the right to decide what you can do? Who made them the expert on your life? Your potential is not up for debate. Your worth is not up for discussion. And your dreams, they're not waiting for anyone's approval. Some of you are sitting there thinking, but what if I fail? Let me tell you something about failure. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of success. But you know what real failure is? Not trying because you're afraid of what others might think. Every morning, you got a choice. You can wake up and make excuses, or you can wake up and make progress. You can focus on what's wrong, or you can create what's right. The mirror doesn't lie, but are you ready for its truth? When you look in that mirror, do you see what's missing, or do you see what's there? Because let me tell you, what's there is miraculous. You survived every bad day you've ever had. You've overcome every obstacle that's been put in your path. You're still here, still breathing, still fighting. That's not nothing, that's everything. Some of you need to clean house. I'm not talking about your living room. I'm talking about your life. You go, those habits that hurt you, they've got to go. Those people who drain you, show them the door. That negative voice in your head. Time to evict it. When you start loving yourself properly, watch how your standards rise. Watch how you stop accepting poor treatment. Watch how you start moving different, speaking different, living different. Your time, it's valuable. Your energy, it's precious. Your peace. Some people won't understand. They'll call you selfish. They'll say you've changed. Good. You're supposed to change. You're not a tree. You're not stuck in one place. Growth is painful. Change is uncomfortable, but nothing is more painful than staying stuck somewhere you don't belong, with people who don't deserve you, in a life that's too small for your dreams. You know what's funny about self-love? The moment you start practicing it, people start testing it, they'll push your boundaries, question your decisions, try to make you doubt yourself. Don't let your healing might make others uncomfortable. Your growth might intimidate them. Your self-love might challenge them. That's not your problem. Keep going. Some of you are waiting for the perfect time to start that business, to write that book, to love yourself. There is no perfect time. The time is now. right here, where you are. Your life is happening now, not tomorrow, not next year. Now, stop putting yourself on hold. Stop waiting for permission. Stop postponing your happiness. You want to know what strength looks like? It's looking at your mistakes, and instead of beating yourself up, you learn from them. It's looking at your flaws, and instead of hiding them, you work on them. The way you talk to yourself matters. The way you treat yourself matters. The way you let others treat you matters. It all matters because you matter. Stop breaking your own heart. Stop betraying your own trust. Stop going against your own instincts. You know what's right for you. Trust that knowledge. Some of you have been carrying guilt for taking care of yourself. Like it's wrong to put yourself first. Like it's bad to have standards. Like it's selfish to have boundaries. Drop that guilt. It doesn't serve you. Your happiness is not selfish. Your mental health is not negotiable. Your peace of mind is not up for discussion. Remember that? The world is going to tell you a million reasons why you should love others more than yourself. Don't believe it. Don't buy into it. Don't fall for it. Because here's the truth. When you love yourself properly, you love others better. When you respect yourself fully, you respect others more. When you honor your own boundaries, you honor others' boundaries too. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being real. Real with yourself, real with your feelings, real with your needs. Some days you won't feel lovable. Love yourself anyway. Some days you won't feel worthy. Choose yourself anyway. Some days you won't feel strong. Stand tall anyway. Your worth doesn't decrease based on someone's inability to see your value. Read that again. Your worth doesn't decrease based on someone's inability to see your value. Stop shrinking yourself to fit in places you outgrown. Stop dimming your light to make others comfortable. Stop apologizing for being who you are. The right people will love the real you, the wrong ones won't. And that's okay. It's not your job to convince anyone of your worth. Your life is your message to the world. Make sure it's inspiring. Make sure it's authentic. Make sure it's true to who you are. Because at the end of the day, you've got to live with your choices. You've got to sleep with your decisions. You've got to look at yourself in the mirror. Make those choices count. Make those decisions matter. Make that reflection proud. And remember, you are not here to live up to anyone else's expectations. You are here to live up to your own potential. So stand in your truth. Walk in your power. Live in your purpose. Because you are worthy. You are valuable. You are enough. Not because someone else says so, but because you say so. And that's all that matters. That's the power of loving yourself more than anyone else. That's the revolution that starts within. That's the change the world needs to see. I'll tell you something nobody talks about. Your money can buy you comfort, but it can't buy you self-worth. Fame can get you attention, but it can't get you self-respect. Power can give you control, but it can't give you inner peace. You're out here buying self-help books, watching motivational videos, following all these gurus. But the real teacher, it's in your gut. That feeling that tells you when something's not right, that voice that whispers you deserve better, start listening to it. People ask me, how do I start? Like there's some magic formula. You start by stop the comparison game. Stop the self-hate. Stop giving away your power. It's that simple and that hard. Watch a child. They don't wake up hating or laugh. They don't worry about taking up too much space. They don't apologize for being hungry or tired or happy or sad. That's who you were before the world told you to be something else. Some of you are running from your reflection. You avoid mirrors. You dodge photos. You hide from cameras. But you can't fix what you won't face. Look at yourself. Really look past the things you want to change. See the strength in your eye, the stories in your scars, the beauty in your being. Your body, it's kept you alive every single day. Your mind, it's solved every problem you faced. Your heart, it's survived every break it's endured. And you want to tell me you're not miraculous? Stop waiting for others to celebrate you. Throw your own parade. Write your own headlines. Be your own breaking news. Let me tell you about regret. The biggest regrets don't come from trying and failing. They come from not trying at all, from listening to fear instead of faith, from choosing safe instead of satisfying. Some of you are holding on to friendships that expired years ago, relationships that are spoiled, habits that are poisoning you. Let them go. Your future is waiting, but your hands are too full of yesterday to grab it. They say time heals all wounds. That's not true. Time alone heals nothing. It's what you do with that time that heals. How you treat yourself during that time. How you grow during that time. You think your scars make you less beautiful. Yeah, your struggles make you less worthy. Your mistakes make you less valuable. No, they make you real. They make you human. They make you relatable. Leadership starts with leading yourself. Being honest with yourself. Being true to yourself. How can you lead others if you can't lead yourself? Your problems, they're not punishments. They're opportunities. Opportunities to show yourself how strong you are, how resilient you are, how capable you are. Stop saying I can't. Say I choose not to. See the difference. One is about power. The other is about choice. You always have a choice. The people who judge you for loving yourself, they're showing you their wounds, not your work. Their criticism is their autobiography. Read it, understand it, but don't live in it. Some of you need to raise your standards, not just for others, for yourself. Stop accepting less than you deserve. Stop settling for less than your worth. Stop giving discounts on your dignity. You want to know what real self-love looks like. It's choosing the harder, right? Instead of the easy or wrong. It's doing what's best for you, not what's convenient. It's being honest with yourself, even when the truth is uncomfortable. Your story isn't finished. Your life isn't over. Your time isn't up. As long as you're breathing, you got a chance to rewrite your story, to reinvent yourself, to rebuild your life. Don't confuse being busy with being productive. Don't mistake movement for progress. Don't substitute attention for love. Know the difference. The quality of your life is determined by the quality of your choices. And every choice you make is either an act of self-love or self-sabotage. Choose wisely. Your healing doesn't need to make sense to anyone else. Your growth doesn't need to be understood by others. Your self-love journey is yours alone. Own it. Stop giving away your power in small moments. In the okay when you mean no. In the fine when you're not fine. In the smile when you're hurting. Take your power back. You know what's attractive? Self-respect. Self-awareness. Self-worth. These things don't fade with age. They don't go out of style. They don't lose value. Some of you are apologizing for things that aren't even wrong. For taking up space. For having feelings. For being human. Stop apologizing for existing. Your worth isn't in your wallet. It's not in your wardrobe. It's not in your weight. It's not in your relationship status. It's in you. Just you. The world needs your voice, not an echo, your walk. Not an imitation, your style, not a copy. Be original. Be you. Be unapologetically you. When you start loving yourself, really loving yourself, you'll face resistance from others, from your past habits, from your own mind. Push through it. The other side is worth it. Don't wait until everything is perfect, until you lose the weight, until you get the job, until you find the partner. Start now. Start where you are. Your happiness is not a luxury. Your peace is not optional. Your self-respect is not negotiable. Make these your non-negotiables. The person you're becoming needs you to be brave today. Needs you to choose yourself today. Needs you to love yourself today. So love yourself, not because you're perfect, but because you're perfectly you. And that's more than enough. That's the message. That's the truth. That's the way forward. Now go live it. Because the world needs what only you can give. But first, you need to give it to yourself. Let's talk about something real. Every morning, millions of dollars are spent on advertisements telling you you're not enough, not young enough, not thin enough, not rich enough. And you know what? That's a business model. They profit from your self-doubt. I see parents out here teaching their kids to share. Be kind, help others. But nobody's teaching them how to be kind to themselves, how to help themselves, how to love themselves. You're not behind in life. You're exactly where you need to be, learning what you need to learn, growing how you need to grow, at your own pace, on your own path. Ever watch the sunset? Nobody tells the sun it's setting too slow or too fast. Nobody criticizes its color or its timing. Nature doesn't rush. Neither should you. Your phone has a battery indicator. Your car has a fuel gauge. What about you? What about your energy, your spirit, your soul? Start checking those levels too. Some of you work jobs you hate to buy things you don't need to impress people you don't like. That's not living, that's existing. And you were meant for more than just existing. Social media's got you fooled. You're comparing your behind the scenes with everyone else's highlight reel. That's a game you can't win, so stop playing it. Gym builds physical strength, books build mental strength, but self-love, that builds soul strength. And that's the strength that carries you through life's hardest moment. Look at your hands again. These hands can write your story, build your dreams, wipe your tears, hold your head high. These hands have power. Some of you are living on mute. Hold back your truth, swallowing your words, hiding your light. Life's too short for silent suffering. Turn your volume up. Pain is mandatory. Suffering is optional. Growth is inevitable. Self-love makes the difference between surviving the process and thriving through it. The world's got enough copies, enough imitations, enough duplicates. What it needs is you, the real you, the raw you, the unfiltered, unapologetic you. You think trees apologize for their height, mountains for their size, rivers for their depth? Nature teaches us self-love every day. We just stop paying attention. Some people will call you extra, too emotional, too sensitive, too much. But here's the truth, the flower can't be too colorful. A star can't be too bright, and you can't be too you. That thing you hate about yourself, someone out there wishes they had it. That quirk you try to hide, someone out there would love it. Your so-called flaws, they're someone else's goals. Your mistakes don't define you. They refine you. Your past doesn't confine you. It aligns you. Your doubts don't bind you. They remind you of how far you've come. What if you treated yourself like someone you're responsible for protecting? What if you defended yourself like you defend your best friend? What if you believed in yourself like you believe in your children? Self-love isn't a destination, it's a practice. Like breathing, like walking, like living. You do it every day, every moment, every chance you get. That voice in your head, make it your biggest supporter. That reflection in the mirror, make it your trusted friend. That heart in your chest, make it your greatest love. Stop collecting likes and start collecting moments. Stop gathering followers and start gathering strength. Stop chasing approval and start chasing growth. The difference between who you are and who you want to be is what you do. Not what others say, not what others think, what you do. Some days you'll fail, some days you'll fall, some days you'll doubt every decision you've ever made. Love yourself through those days too. Your worth isn't tied to your productivity. Your value isn't measured by your output. Your importance isn't calculated by your income. You matter because you exist. That dream in your heart, it's there for a reason. That fire in your soul is there for a purpose. That voice in your mind is there for a mission. Trust them. Self-love is revolutionary in a world that profits from self-doubt. Your happiness is rebellious in a society that feeds on your fear. Your self-acceptance is radical in a culture that sells perfection. Take up space, make noise, leave marks out, create way. The world won't end if you do, but your world might end if you don't. Tomorrow isn't promised. Today isn't guaranteed. This moment is all you have. Make it count. Make it matter. Make it yours. The most important conversation you'll ever have is the one you have with yourself. Make it a loving one. Make it a kind one. Make it a true one. Stop auditioning for roles in other people's lives. Stop trying to fit into spaces that weren't built for you. Stop dimming your light for people who aren't even looking your way. Love yourself enough to walk away from anything that no longer serves you, grows you, or makes you happy. Love yourself enough to say no to anything that takes more than it gives. Your presence is a present. Your existence is essential. Your life is a legacy. Live it that way. Love it that way. Lead it that way. The world will adjust to the level of self-love you display. People will treat you according to how you treat yourself. Life will respond to how you embrace yourself. So embrace fully, love completely, live authentically. Because there's only one you. There will only ever be one you. And that's your superpower. That's your gift to the world. Listen to me now, because this is important. Everything I've said today means nothing if you walk out of here and forget it tomorrow. This isn't just a speech. This is your life we're talking about. You see, we're coming to the end of our time together, but for you, this is just the beginning. This is your moment, your turning point. Your declaration of self-love. Look around you. Every single person who ever made history had one thing in common. They decided to love themselves enough to be different, to stand out, to take a chance on themselves. I want you to make me a promise right now. Not tomorrow, not next week. Right now, promise yourself that from this moment forward, you'll stop being your own enemy and start being your own best friend. Remember what we talked about here today. Every word, every lesson, every truth, write it on your heart. Because loving yourself isn't a one-time thing. It's a moment-by-moment choice. When you walk out these doors, people will try to make you doubt yourself again. The world will try to make you small again. Your old habits will try to claim you again. Don't let them. You got the power now. You got the knowledge. You got the truth. Use it, live it, own it. Because here's what I know for sure. The moment you start loving yourself more than anyone else is the moment your whole life changes. That's not just talk. That's fact. So stand up. Right now, stand up. Feel that. That's strength in your legs. That's power in your heart. That's love in your soul. You are not leaving here the same person who walked in. You are leaving here awakened, aware, alive, huh? And the next time someone asks you why you love yourself so much, you look them straight in the eye and say, because I'm worth it. Because I'm valuable. Because I'm me. Don't just hear these words. Live them. Don't just remember them. Become them. This is your time, your moment, your life. Love yourself like your life depends on it. Because it does. Love yourself like you're getting paid to do it. Because you are. Life pays you back in the exact proportion of how much you love yourself. Love yourself like it's your job. Because it is. It's the most important job you'll ever have. Now go out there and show the world what self-love looks like in action. Show them what it means to stand tall in your truth. Show them what it means to walk proud in your power. Because you're not just changing your life here. You're changing the world, like one self-loving act at a time. One self-loving thought at a time. One self-loving moment at a time. Starting right here, starting right now. Starting with you. Remember this day, remember this moment, remember this feeling. Because this is just the beginning of your love story with yourself. And it's going to be the most beautiful story ever told. So now go write it. Go live it. Go love it. On the world is waiting for you. But more importantly, you've been waiting for you. It's time. Your time right now. Love yourself more than anyone else. Love yourself more than anything else. Love yourself more than ever before. Because you are worth it. You always have been. And you always will be. That's not just the truth. That's the truth. Now go live it.